What up? I'm gonna be reacting to my UFC White House Card video. This is a 3-month-old video, by the way. So a lot has happened between these last 3 months in the UFC. So I'm gonna see if this video has aged well or not, to see if any of these fights still make sense. If these fights, are impossible to make now. So I'm gonna be reacting to every single matchup I made on this card to see if I did a pretty good job. Now, it is a little bit premature to be reacting to this card 3 months from now, but this is the first week with no UFC. Um, we're not gonna be getting any UFC fights for a couple weeks straight. We have Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul to look forward to, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm already going a little bit crazy just thinking about no MMA fights soon. Why is Bellator? Why is the PFL? Why is ONE FC not making any fucking fights during the Christmas or anything like that? Why? Like, oh my, I don't even know. But yeah, a lot has happened between the last 3 months, so it kind of makes a little bit of sense to make this video right now because we got like a couple of new champs. We got Peter Yan, Joshua Van, Islam at 170, uh, Hamza. So a lot has changed. So it makes sense to. I mean, it's not totally unreasonable to make this video right now. And also, we got a little bit of news recently in the UFC. This one's a little bit old. Dana White saying no John Jones for the White House. This was like a couple months ago when Dana White said this, and so it makes. I mean, after like a year of glazing John Jones, realistically because of the Ngannou situation, that's the reason he cares about John Jones, not because John Jones is actually like the savior of the UFC. He's gonna bring in the pay-per-view monies or anything like that. Nobody really cares about John Jones in the sense of hype. Maybe back when he was like an actual defending champ, but right now nobody. He became a irrelevant name in the MMA in a sense of nobody. He's not the level of Alex or Ilya or Islam. So it's the truth. Just look at his pay-per-view numbers. It's the only reason he was gonna be paid 30 million is because Espinal John Jones was a huge fight after the Ngannou fight fell out. So I mean, it didn't really fell out. It was more like John Jones was ducking Ngannou, but you know what I mean. But yeah. Also, Ilya, he's taking a break from MMA. He's not gonna be fighting soon. He's already an active fighter, by the way. He's already inactive. So realistically, if he's gonna be taking a break already as an active fighter, he's not gonna be coming back for the White House. At most, like the earliest is probably by the end of 2026. So next year, like let's say like November, December, around there, he's probably gonna come back. So he's not gonna be coming back early enough for the White House. The whole lightweight division, like within a month, got Thanos snapped into like dust. I don't even know how. We had Ilya as champ, and then we had Armin, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. I mean, he already fought, but either way, we had like these names, and the whole division went to shit in a month. So I don't even know what is happening. I'll be honest, I'm not even like too what I'm not even like too kept up with the whole Ilya situation. So I'm not gonna like go too deep into this, but yeah, he's not gonna be bro, fight. Like I'll be honest, I don't know, like it makes sense if you like break a leg or you're having legal issues, but I mean, come on, you can still fight, please, whatever. And the last one is Alex. Yesterday, he made a post on Instagram. I don't know if he tweeted it this as well, but I'm not on Twitter. He said White House is a no go, as in Dana White said a no chama for the White House. So I mean, my reasoning is probably they're gonna do Alex Pereira versus Olberg at the White House. I mean, at Brazil and not the White House. And Alex Pereira is not gonna be able to make a quick turnaround after beating Olberg in one round in Brazil. I'm joking. But anyways, yeah, that's I'm guessing that's what the UFC is planning, and that's why Alex isn't gonna be fighting at the White House. And I mean, it would make way more sense if Alex Pereira fought Tom Aspinall at the White House. And then they make Alex versus. Oh, no. If Alex fought Olberg at the White House, and then they make Alex versus Tom Aspinall in Brazil, that would make more sense. But I don't know. The UFC, they're a multi-million-dollar company. They know what they're doing. It's not like they made Volk versus Diego Lopez too, right? It's not like they did that, right? But anyways, yeah. And so that means there's only one superstar left because we got no Ilya, no John. I mean, John Jones is not really a superstar, but still, and no Alex Pereira. So realistically, we're going to be getting Islam versus Usman at the White House. Bro, there's the whole I don't know. The whole UFC is cooked. We gotta throw away the whole. We gotta go on strike. You're saying we gotta paint our hair blue, go on strike, and say and like I don't know, be all gay and shit. But whatever. Yeah. But yeah, let me go back to this video because this is what you came for to watch, right? To watch me. Thank you. But anyways, let's just see how accurate these fights are. So I'm gonna start off with the early prelims. I did the whole card by the way when I made this. I did the whole card. We're gonna start off with Bo Nickel versus Jung Sung, the Iron Turtle. This fight still makes sense. This is actually a pretty good fight to make still. Like and right now, this is a really good fight. So I would say this is an amazing aged well fight to make still for the White House. Nickel is coming off of Rodolfo Vieira. He in Park is coming off the what's the dude's name? I forgot his name, but you know who I'm talking about? The guy who lost to Hamza to Whitaker. He's coming off that loss. It was a close fight, by the way. I mean, not a close fight, but he still made it very hard on that guy. What is his name? I forgot. But Nickel versus Park. This fight still makes perfect sense. I would love to see it. I cooked. I'm telling you, I cooked on this one. Just saying. Next up, it is wait. Need to get my mouse. Smith versus Patterson. This is still actually a pretty good fight as well. They're not. I don't think Patterson or Smith are matched up with anybody right now. Are they? I don't know actually. But this fight still makes perfect sense to make for the White House. This is actually very reasonable. Unless Patterson. Let me see. Yeah, he's not matched up with anybody right now, so it makes perfect sense. This is actually a pretty good fight as well. So far, I'm saying 2 for 2. I'm doing really good on this matchmaking, by the way. Like the UFC, if you're anybody from the UFC is watching, hire me, please. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, these are two amazing fights for the White House for the early prelims. Amazing fights. So I'm doing two. I'm not doing too bad. This is aging pretty well so far. Next up is Johnson versus Ursig. I don't know. No. Johnson is matched up with someone. I think it's Alex Perez, right, or something like that. He's matched up with someone. So this fight isn't aging too well. Johnson versus Ursig. Ursig is right now and matched up with nobody. I think. I don't know. Actually, let me check. Yeah, he's matched up with nobody right now. So, but Johnson's matched up with someone, so it's still possible. This fight is still possible. Still a pretty good fight. Johnson versus Usyk. I would say this fight in general, if it happens or not, is an amazing fight. I would give it like a 5 out of 10. This fight happening and fight. I mean, it was still this will be an amazing fight, by the way. So I did. It's not possible right now, but it's still it can still happen. So the White House is in the middle of the year, not the beginning of 2026. So even if some of these fighters are booked, it's not impossible for these fighters to fight. So I'm gonna say I did okay on this matchup. I did okay. Still a good fight though. I also love to watch this fight. Piper versus Kopylov. Yeah, I would say this one isn't aging well because Piper just beat Abus. He's gonna be fighting up the rankings, and Kopylov just lost to RoboCop, so he's unranked right now, right? He's probably unranked or probably like number 15. He's gonna be defending his spot if he's like still ranked. I'm not sure right now, but yeah, this fight doesn't make any sense right now. Piper is gonna be climbing his way up the division right now to fight for a title soon, probably next year or maybe 2 years from now. If he goes on a winning streak, so yeah, it makes no sense for Piper to fight Kopylov right now. Piper maybe RoboCop or Piper versus I don't know who's right now open or near him. Maybe I don't know, but right now this fight does not make any sense. So I would say I did pretty bad on this one. This one right now wouldn't make too much sense in in June when this card is happening. So yeah. Next one is Brendan Allen versus Barajo. This one actually also didn't age that well. Allen is coming off an RDR win. He's probably gonna be fighting someone else up in the rankings. Maybe like I don't know. Barajo or matched up with RDR, by the way. So it would have made way more sense for Allen to fight Barajo because Barajo just fought Imava. Imava is gonna be fighting soon for the title. So actually, I would say this one makes way more sense than the actual matchup we got. RDR versus Barajo got announced earlier today, by the way. So they didn't know. But yeah, this one I would say aged not good, but this will be a way more better in real life. Just saying, this will make way more sense. Allen versus Bravo, but maybe Allen is gonna be fighting Izzy. Maybe that would probably what's gonna be happening. I don't know, but yeah, it's still possible. This fight is still possible. It'll still be a pretty good fight, but maybe maybe we're getting Allen versus Izzy at the White House. That would be a pretty good. That would make actually way more sense. So I take that back. That would be way more better than Allen versus Bravo at the White House. Okay, yeah, I can see it happening. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, yeah, this fight didn't age that well. This is a bad aging fight to make. Next up is Buckley versus Prates. This one also really didn't age that well because Buckley, I mean, when I made this video, Buckley already lost to Usman, and Prates right now just is coming off a Leon Edwards win. So that launched him up to like a either a title fight or a title eliminator fight. So and Buckley isn't nowhere near that type of like reasoning for him to fight for like a title eliminator. So yeah, Buckley needs to climb his way back up the rankings, and Prates is already up there. So it makes no sense for this fight to happen. This is another bad aging fight to make for the White House. So it makes no sense. I did horrible on this one. So I said I'm doing not that bad. I'm not doing that bad, but yeah, 2 bad in a row. Not looking that great. Lewis versus Cortez Acosta. Oh, right. I remember. I'm making this one. I predicted it. I predicted it. Not for the White House, but I did predict this fight was going to happen. This happening on what is in January, the first card of the year, UFC 324. I predict. No, I'm joking. Well, I mean, it didn't make sense to make it back then, so it makes perfect sense now. But yeah, I would say that's a good aging fight because it is happening, but it's not happening for the White House. So I would give it like a 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 maybe because I did predict it. But we're gonna be getting this fight in real life, so it is an amazing fight. So I can't wait for this fight either way. I'm gonna be rooting for Cortez Acosta because he is a name in the UFC and he is young. Lewis is kind of up there in age. And we need if he's gonna fight for the title soon, if he could probably win, we need someone young to defend the title. But yeah, Thomas versus Cortez Acosta. That one's a very hard fight, by the way, for both fighters. So I'm not rooting for either way, either or. I like Thomas, but I like Cortez Acosta. But I'm just saying, Cortez Acosta for a title contentions, he would be really interesting at that like level. So yeah, but yeah, that was an amazing aging win. I mean, fight, not win. Next up, this one does not make any sense as well. Roundtree versus Olberg. Olberg is already probably fighting for Alex soon at Brazil, like I said. And Roundtree, he lost to Yuri, so he's gonna be fighting down right now in the rankings against I don't know, what's his name? The Bogdan Guskov, probably Roundtree versus Bogdan Guskov is probably gonna happen. Olberg is, if he's not fighting Alex Pereira, which is kind of unrealistic, realistically, he should be fighting Alex Pereira. He's probably gonna be fighting like Yuri or Ankalaev. So the Roundtree versus Olberg makes no sense right now. It doesn't make sense in the future as well for the White House card. So I did pretty bad on this one. So not a good prediction on my end. And next up, it is Sterling versus Murphy. Now this one's interesting because Volk is fighting Lopez, so Sterling and Murphy are vacant right now. Like they're not fighting anybody right now. They're not fighting for a title. And Evluev is super inactive. Listen, I was saying Ilya's inactive. Evluev is super inactive. He's not gonna be fighting Sterling or Murphy. Maybe he's gonna be probably waiting his chance for the title. Probably maybe if Volk does defend Lopez. Listen, the Volk Lopez fight doesn't even make sense at all, to be honest. Because listen, if Volk loses to Lopez, great. You gave Lopez a second chance, and you ruined the Volk versus Evluev. If Volk wins, you ruined Lopez because he's now lost twice to an older fighter, and he already lost twice at becoming a champ. So the whole Volk versus Lopez fight makes no sense. This should have been a bad aging fight, to be honest. We should have gotten like Sterling versus Volk or Murphy versus Volk. I don't know, but either way, this fight is still possible. Sterling, Murphy, they're fighting nobody right now. It makes perfect sense for a title eliminator fight between both of these fighters, and it's very possible this fight happens. So it's not, they're not. I would say this is a good aging fight. This probably is realistically gonna happen because Volk is booked with Lopez, but yeah, good aging fight. I didn't do too bad in this one. That makes sense. This fight was kind of already talked about way before I made this video, so yeah. Next up, Sean Strickland versus Whitaker for the White House for the first fight of the main card. This one's not aging that well because Strickland is fighting Anthony Hernandez. Whitaker is not booked with anybody right now. But he's on a losing streak, so yeah, it wouldn't make too much sense for Strickland to fight Whitaker right now. If Strickland loses to Fluffy Hernandez, Strickland versus Whitaker would probably make sense at the White House because that's gonna be like after Strickland loses to Anthony Fernandez after like a couple months after that. Strickland can fight again against Whitaker. But right now it's not aging too well. If Strickland beats Fluffy, and he does kind of have a style to be Fluffy, yeah, that's why it's never gonna happen. And yeah, it's a bad aging prediction on my end. Oh, next up, we got O'Malley versus Sandhagen. O'Malley is matched up with Song Yadong right now. Sandhagen is coming off the Merab loss. So it makes no sense right now. But O'Malley beats Song Yadong. They can probably do O'Malley versus Sandhagen. Or they can still do O'Malley versus Sandhagen, even if O'Malley loses to Song Yadong. So I would say this is not a bad aging one. It's just right now O'Malley's booked. But they can still very much happen right now. They're kind of close in the rankings as well. So I'm not saying there's a bad aging prediction, but like it can still happen. But just not I'm not too confident in it happening. So I will give it like a 5 out of 10 of it happening. It'll still be an amazing matchup. And this fight will be crazy for the White House, by the way. Just saying O'Malley versus Sandhagen. So I'm gonna give it like maybe like a 6 out of 10. But yeah. Next up, Harrison versus Nunes. This one was already kind of like already a thing when I made this video. Harrison versus Nunes. Harrison, when she fought for the title, Nunes was at the press conference, and then Nunes faced off with Harrison. So it was like pretty much confirmed this fight was gonna happen. So there's not even though I predict like I did include it in my White House, it's not like a actual prediction on my end. So I'm not gonna take credit on it, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna be happening this next month as well. So great aging, but I'm not gonna say I partook in anything like that, like in the credit. So good aging, but whatever. Next up, this one. This one. Whoa! Who would have seen that coming? Madeleine versus Brady. Yeah, Madalena just got laid and prayed by Islam. Great game plan by Islam. Leg kick and then take him down and just hold position rather than getting the sub. I mean, Madalena didn't do too bad on the ground, but he still lost, and he's no longer champ. And Brady just got sent to the Shadow Realm by Michael Morales. Yeah, Brady was too scared to take Morales down. He didn't want to get humped like Izzy versus what the hell is his name? Paulo Costa. So yeah. So this fight does not make sense at all. Especially because now that JDM isn't champ and Brady isn't gonna be fighting for the belt, it makes no sense for JDM versus Brady to be fighting each other. It makes more sense that JDM is gonna be fighting like Michael Morales or Carlos Prates or Shavkat. For the fans and the UFC, UFC know that JDM has become somewhat of a relevant name, and they do not want to ruin it against giving him a boring fighter as in Brady. And so, realistically, JDM versus Brady is not going to be happening anytime soon as well. Even as JDM isn't champ anymore. So this is a horrible aging co-main, horrible aging. But yeah, what is the main event? Main event is Holloway versus McGregor. What was I thinking when I made this? Holloway versus McGregor. This makes no sense. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it makes sense because Holloway is American and McGregor is a huge name. So put two together, Holloway versus McGregor for a BMF title fight. BMF Holloway has the BMF title fight, so it makes sense. It's a title fight still. But yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, it can still happen actually. But yeah, this is not happening. It was not happening 3 months ago, so I don't know why I was thinking that, but maybe I was just being optimistic. I have no clue why. Maybe in this video I describe it, but dude, I just looked at myself right now. What the heck? Look, let me just do something real quick. Oh my goodness, just look at my face right now. Look how creepy that is. What the heck? I'm just looking at it right now. What the? Yo, that is creepy. Bro, I look like a demon in that picture, in that still frame. But anyways, bro, that thing is distracting me right now. Maybe we can get Patty versus Holloway. If Holloway wins his fight against Charles and Patty wins against Justin Gaethje, that would make perfect sense for the White House. Actually, that would make perfect sense. Holloway, Patty, USA versus England. Okay, I can see what the UFC is cooking. Actually, I was shitting on the lightweight division. Yo, that would be crazy. Patty versus Holloway. Okay, that is a huge fight. Actually, now that I think about it. Okay, never mind. I forgive you, UFC. You are cooking in the lightweight division. You are cooking Holloway versus Patty. That would be crazy. Actually, holy shit. Yeah, that would be amazing. So yeah, this card I would say in general didn't age that well. Half of these fights don't make any sense anymore. But yeah, that's it. Do you think some of these fights make perfect sense or like they're still gonna happen? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. You came this far. Like and subscribe, and hopefully we can all survive the no UFC famine right now we're in. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.